Ever notice how some people open their banking app and don't flinch? Not rich, not millionaires, just calm. No anxiety, no mental math, no instant urge to close the app. That feeling doesn't start at $1 million. It starts much earlier, and almost nobody talks about it. Most financial advice online is obsessed with big numbers. 6 figures. 7 figures. Financial freedom. But that's like telling someone to run a marathon when they're still learning how to walk. The real problem is that most people are stuck in financial survival mode. Every expense feels risky. Every decision feels urgent. Every paycheck disappears too fast. You're constantly thinking about money, but never actually getting ahead. Quick question. When was the last time you made a money decision without stress? For most people, it's been a while. When your savings are low, you don't really choose, you react. You take the first job offer you get, even if it's terrible. You stay in toxic environments because leaving feels too dangerous. You say yes to things you don't want to do because you need the money. It's not about being lazy or bad with money. It's about pressure. When your back is against the wall, your brain is focused on survival, not growth. And that pressure shows up everywhere. A small expense doesn't feel small. A $200 car repair isn't just annoying, it's stressful. A broken phone isn't an inconvenience, it's a problem you have to solve immediately. Even something like going out with friends can turn into a mental debate. Should I go? Can I afford it? Is this a bad decision? That constant friction drains your energy. And here's something even worse. Opportunities show up in your life all the time, but you can't act on them. A friend mentions a business idea. Someone tells you about a course that could improve your career. You see a good deal on something valuable. But instead of asking, is this a good opportunity, you're forced to ask, can I afford to even consider this? And most of the time, the answer is no. So you stay stuck. Not because you're not smart. Not because you're not capable. But because you don't have margin. Now here's where things start to change. There's a number where this entire dynamic shifts. Not 100,000. Not $1 million. $20,000. This is the point where your relationship with money begins to transform. And it's not just about the money itself. It's about what that money does to your thinking. First, your brain exits survival mode. Instead of constantly worrying about the next expense, you finally have breathing room. You stop asking, how do I survive this month? And start asking, how can I improve my situation long term? That shift is powerful. Because the quality of your decisions improves immediately. You start thinking ahead. You plan. You consider options. You're no longer reacting to life, you're starting to design it. Second, your money actually starts working for you. At small amounts, investing feels almost pointless. If you invest $1,000 and earn 10%, that's $100. Nice, but it doesn't change anything. But at $20,000, that same 10% becomes $2,000. Now your money is doing something real. It's no longer just about saving. It's about growth. And for the first time, you can actually see progress coming from your money, not just your effort. And here's where it gets interesting. Once you hit that first $20,000, the next one comes faster. Because now you're not starting from zero. Your money is working alongside you. This is where compound growth begins to feel real. At first, it feels slow. Almost invisible. But then something shifts. The timeline shortens. Progress speeds up. And eventually, your money starts doing a significant part of the work. Third, you gain something incredibly powerful: freedom to walk away. You don't need to quit your job. That's not the point. The point is that you could. And that changes everything. You stop tolerating things you hate. You become more confident in conversations. You ask for better opportunities because you're no longer desperate. You're not negotiating from fear anymore. You're negotiating from stability. And ironically, this is when your income often starts to grow faster. Because people can feel the difference. You carry yourself differently. You make better decisions. You take smarter risks. But here's a mistake a lot of people make. They reach this point, and then they ruin it. They hit $20,000, feel good, and immediately spend it. A new car, an expensive trip, something to reward themselves. And just like that, they're back where they started. That money is not a reward. It's a foundation. It's the base layer that everything else is built on. If you protect it, it grows. If you spend it, you reset your progress. Now, let's talk about something that might change how you see spending completely. When you don't have savings, you focus on small expenses. Coffee, groceries, discounts. You try to optimize every little purchase. But once you have a solid financial base, your focus shifts. You stop worrying about small decisions and start paying attention to big ones. Where you live, what you drive, how much you save, where you invest. These decisions have a massive impact on your future. Because saving $3 on coffee won't make you wealthy. But choosing a cheaper apartment, increasing your income, or investing consistently absolutely will. This shift is incredibly freeing. You stop overthinking every small purchase and start thinking strategically about your life. And here's something surprising. Once you think this way, you often realize you don't actually want a lot of the things you thought you wanted. The expensive car, the bigger apartment, the lifestyle upgrades. Not because they're bad, but because you see the trade-offs clearly. Every dollar you spend is a choice. Not just about today, but about your future. $20,000 won't make you rich overnight. But it will change how you think, how you decide, how you act. It's the point where you stop just surviving and start building. So instead of chasing $1 million right away, focus on your first 20,000. Because that's where the real shift begins. And now I want to ask you something. What's harder for you right now, saving your first 1,000 or staying consistent over time?